Times Radio, 235 years in the making.
1st of January 1785, the Daily Universal Register. To bring out a new paper at the present day when so many others are already established and confirmed in the public opinion is certainly an arduous undertaking, and no one can be more fully aware of its difficulties than I.
The affairs of France very naturally engrossed the whole of the public attention.
The ever-to-be-lamented death of Vice Admiral Lord Viscount Nelson.
Nearly 100 of the King's unarmed subjects have been sabred by a body of cavalry.
Ministers have successfully established the principle of the Great Slavery Abolition Bill.
10 minutes past 11, our light brigade advanced. As they rushed towards the front, the Russians opened on them from guns in the redoubt on the right, with volleys of musketry and rifles.
Thereupon, the British ambassador was handed his passports and a state of war was formally declared by this country.
Nightfall brought no end to the public jubilation.
Everything is in readiness for the signing of peace at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon at Versailles.
By 11 o'clock, no assurance had been received that German troops would be withdrawn from Polish soil.
Thousands of people spent last night on the coronation route, having taken up their positions yesterday in readiness for today's procession.
It was 3:56 a.m.
when Armstrong stepped off the ladder from Eagle and onto the moon's surface.
Heroism and horror in China.
Reports of rebel army units fuel fear of civil war.
More than 1 million Germans from east and west held the world's biggest non-stop party in Berlin.
Tear down this wall.
As their sober leaders tried in vain to dampen the euphoria.
16 small children and their teacher were murdered yesterday by a lone gunman. Terrorists laid waste to the citadels of American capitalism and defence yesterday, with coordinated attacks.
Britain's biggest savings bank will be rescued from the brink of collapse this morning in a deal intended to stave off financial catastrophe.
Revealed the tragic victims of Syria's nerve gas war.
Britain's government has become the subject of an extraordinary bidding war after Gordon Brown...
Britain is bowing out of the European Union today.
Boris Johnson declared a moment of national emergency last night.
Across the UK, on DAB digital radio, on the free Times Radio app, and via your smart speaker. This is Times Radio. Know your times.
Good morning and welcome to a new voice in British radio. It's 6 o'clock. I'm Aasmah Mir.
And I'm Stig Abell, and this is the first ever Times Radio breakfast. Thank you for your company. The top stories this morning: the Prime Minister's set to announce a £1 billion school building programme. Britain's most senior civil servant, Sir Mark Sedwell, is standing down. Boris Johnson's paid tribute to his outstanding service, but a former head of the civil service says he was pushed out.
Coming up later, we'll be joined by the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, for his first broadcast interview since contracting coronavirus. We'll hear about his plan to reboot Britain's economy. And on a day of new starts, we'll be live in a maternity ward.
It's Monday, the 29th of June.
This is Times Radio.
First, with the very latest news, here's Alex Dibble.
Aasmah, thank you. Good morning. £1 billion is to be given to schools and colleges in England to, the Prime Minister says, lay the foundations for the country as it recovers from the coronavirus pandemic. It will form part of a 10-year plan.